Well, hi. I didn't expect to see you out here. I'm just kidding. It's Kevin, and welcome to the Ipswich River. If I can get myself closer without knocking my camera over. In today's video, we're going to be looking at the Ipswich River from above using an aerial drone to see all the twists and turns. Specifically, we're going to start over Wilmington, Massachusetts, just west of I-93, then paddle through North Reading up to Ipswich River Park. So this quick introduction, and then off we go. Alright, we're going to start at that part of the river, which is the first part you can actually paddle. It's very narrow, but upstream from here it's little brooks, and you can't really paddle it. Very twisty, very narrow. I've done this at least once with a 14-foot boat. If you've got anything longer than that, you probably cannot make these turns. And because it can be narrow all the way through, well, here it's Wilmington, but soon in North Reading it can be very narrow. Double-bladed kayak paddle might be too wide, and you might need a single-blade canoe paddle. Coming at the top of the frame is Interstate 93. I'm going to stop filming here. We'll jump over the other side of the highway and start again. This is in North Reading, and you see it's really broadened out. On the other side of the highway, it's just this very open area. From a distance, a lot of people think it's just marsh back here, but if you look up at the top left of the frame, you see the river keeps on going, paralleling Concord Street largely. Now off to the right here, you can actually see a person walking. It's like a man-made esker. I'm not exactly sure what this is, but you see that stretch of green. That is Reading Town Forest off to the right. But we're going to turn to the left and follow the river. At this time of year, it's early spring, and the leaves are not fully on the trees, which is helpful because sometimes we'll be able to see through the trees to see the river winding through there. But the grasses have started to turn green, and a lot of these shrubs have not. And a lot of these shrubs are buttonbush, and it can be very congested in this area here. There are times when I had to lay down my canoe paddle, grab the shrubs on the left with my left hand, grab the shrubs on my right with my right hand, and pull the boat through because the opening between the shrubs was 3 feet or maybe 2.5 feet. So it's not common, but just briefly that can happen. And as we're basically paralleling the industrial buildings on Concord Street to the left, you see it's pretty broad, but the river itself is quite narrow at this point. It's not that big open space anymore. And we're going to pause filming here and jump ahead just a bit. I want to show you some of the bridges that you encounter through North Reading, but in particular the one you need to be concerned with is Main Street, Route 28 in North Reading, because it can look like this. You can't get a boat under there. And at flood stage, it looks like this. Even those plastic bottles can't get under the bridge. So before you try to paddle this section, you might want to stop your car near the Lobster Claw restaurant and look over at the side of the bridge and make sure you're going to have enough room to paddle under that. Because if you can't, you're going to have to portage over Route 28. Not a fun thought because it's kind of a busy state highway. This is a little bit further down from the Lobster Claw. Again, it's still very serpentine, narrow, twisty stuff. It's common through North Reading. It does this. So it actually takes a long time to get from point A to point B because it just goes back and forth. And we saw it once. Here it is coming in at the top right. I believe that's Beaver Meadow Brook. Starts south of the ice rink in Reading, down near the highway actually, flows north, meets up with the Ipswich River right here. The river itself goes into the trees just a little bit. It's going to come out into the open again in this video, but because it is early spring, you can see through the trees. And as it comes out on the other side, there's some power lines. There's an easement here. And I'm going to stop. I'm not going to fly over the power lines, but if you look real close, you see there's a little tiny bridge over the river. And it's a temporary thing, and in good weather, in 3 seasons, somebody puts this across the river. I don't know who does that. In early spring, it's usually not there, but it causes a problem if you're trying to paddle down the river. Now, we're jumping ahead a little bit more to the end of our video. We're coming into Ipswich River Park, which is a popular public park in North Reading. Just came under a bridge, maybe Chestnut Street, not sure. And as we turn this corner here, you'll see it gets very, very shallow. There's kind of a sandbar where it's orange. If you want to avoid that, keep to the left. If you get stuck on it, you just climb out of your boat and push because it's really shallow. And looking ahead, you see some people enjoying the park off to the right. There's some people walking dogs, and there's even a guy fly fishing on the beach here. I'm going to use digital zoom to get in closer on him. I don't know what you can catch here for fish, but anyway, this is Ipswich River Park, and this is where I'm going to end part 1 of the Ipswich River.